Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to go ahead and create deepfakes. So let me show you the example that we're talking about. So here you can see we have a video. This is the deepfake video and this is the real video. I uploaded this a while back and it was quite fun to see what people had to say. In fact, one of my videos went viral as well. So if you look at this one, it actually got 1.6 million views within a few weeks, and there's a lot of comments and likes and shares as well, and people seem to be debating that whether this is actually real or not. So a lot of people, they just want to say that it is amazing. Some of them, they're saying that it's not real, and some of them, they are actually arguing that it is real because Dubai actually lets people do this. So it's quite fun to see how well this performs, and this processing took, I believe, 2 to 3 minutes, and this video was created. So we will be using a UI tool that has a user interface which will allow us to create deepfakes. Earlier we did it with Roop, but it does not have a full-time support anymore. So that's why we are going to shift to a new model, a new deepfake project, and this is the project that we are going to go ahead and run. It's called Face Fusion. You can see this is the next generation face swapper and enhancer. The best part is that it has a user interface where you can simply drag and drop instead of giving it commands. So here you can see you simply drag in your source, then the target footage, and then you get the output. So you can do it with images, you can do it with videos, and you can do it on multiple faces. You can select the reference faces as well, and then of course you can change these parameters as well. But we are going to look at all of these things, how you can add these images, how you can run the video, and the best part is we are going to look at how you can do this using your own local hardware, using your GPU. So that is the main thing, that sometimes it doesn't work well with GPU. It gives you errors. There are version problems, a lot of version problems there are nowadays. So we will be looking at what exactly works. And if you were to install this right from the basics, so let's say you bought a PC, you bought a laptop, what do you need to do to make this run? So let's go ahead and look at that. So if you are running this for the very first time, if you have just bought a PC or a laptop, then you need to go through a few steps before you can actually go ahead and run this. So the first step, I have a chart here that will help you actually install. So the first thing is Python. So you have to go to the Python website, and there you will find the Python versions. Now, what I recommend is not to install the latest version because it might give you problems later on. So right now it's at 3.12, and I would say to go with 3.10. So you can install, you can go to downloads and you can view the full list. Now, most of you probably have already done this, but again, if you have a new PC you're installing for the first time, you can go ahead and download any of these. For example, you go to Python 3.1.0 and you go down, and here you can see the installer for Windows, Linux, and Macs, whatever you are using. Okay, so the next step is to install the Pycharm IDE. So let me write down Pycharm IDE. Now, of course, we are going to download the free version, which is the community version. So you will go to their websites, and let me see in the download section. Yeah, so here in the download section, you will see this is the Pycharm Professional. Don't download that, it is a paid version. Here in the black you will see Pycharm Community Edition. That is what you have to download, so you can simply download that. So once both of these things are done, then we move on to the GPU part. Now, if you don't have a GPU or you're using Mac, then you don't need to do this. You can simply go ahead and skip to the next part where we install the Face Fusion. But if you do have a GPU, then you need to install, first of all, Visual Studio. So I mixed up the sequence, but again, you will go to Visual Studio, and you are going to download this, not the Visual Studio Code. You have to install Visual Studio. And the reason to install that, we're not going to use it, by the way. The reason to install it is because we need the desktop C++ development parts. So we are going to install that specifically. Let me see if I can find an image of desktop development C++ Visual Studio. I believe I can find an image and I'll just show you. Okay, yeah. So if I Google it, there you go. So you can see here. So this is for game development with C++. No, we want for the desktop. Yeah, there you go. Desktop development C++. So make sure if you're installing this, make sure you click on that. That's the main thing we need. The rest of that we can skip. Okay. That being said, the next thing we have to install is CUDA. Now, when it comes to CUDA, again, before that, you need to install the NVIDIA driver. I'm assuming that you have already installed the NVIDIA driver. So let me actually show you that as well. NVIDIA drivers. So downloads, and you are going to go ahead and select whichever laptop or computer you're using. So for example, I can go to RTX, and then I can select whatever series or version you are using. And normally most of them, they are GeForce, and here you can see RTX 40 series. So if you're using a laptop, choose the notebook, otherwise choose a series directly. And yeah, so that's the basic idea. So you select those and then you select which Windows. Now this is important as well, because later on when you download CUDA, you have to tell which Windows. Is it 10 or is it 11 and so on. So then you have the game ready or studio driver. So I would suggest you install studio driver and then you search and download and run it. So once that is done, then we are going to go ahead and we will go to CUDA. Now here's the interesting part. If I write CUDA download, then it will directly give you 12.3. So maybe you will get later on different versions, but we want 11. So we have to write CUDA 11 download. So this is very important because one of the softwares, the ONX that we are going to use later on, does not have the compatibility yet for CUDA 12. It has for CUDA 11. Now that also you can verify from their website. So this is ONX, and you can see here, this is a runtime with CUDA is 11.8. So the maximum one that we are getting is 11.8 at this point. So we do not have 12. So later on you might get 12. So that's why I showed you this website that you can go and check it out. Maybe 12 is there, so you can go ahead and install that. We'll go to 11.8, and here we will select Windows, x64. If it's 10, 11, whatever you have, then you can select the exe file or the network file. It's up to you, whichever one you want to install. Okay, once the installation is done, then you have to go ahead and install CUDA deep neural network. So it's called cuDNN. So CUDA deep neural network, there you go. So you can go to download CUDA DNN library. Once you download it, you have to extract the files. Once you extract the files, what it will have are basically a bin folder, a lib folder, and let me actually show you because it might get complicated that way. So so there we have it. This is in C program files, NVIDIA GPU compute tooling kit. Then we have CUDA, then we have version. So I have 11.5 because I installed it a while back. And here you will see when you open up CUDA deep neural network, cuDNN, then you will find a bin folder. So whatever is in the bin folder, copy that and paste it here. Then whatever is in the lib, whatever is in the include, copy that, paste it here. And then whatever is in the lib x64, copy that, paste it here. So that's the basic process of how you can do this. And one more thing, you also need, see these things, they are installed and you don't have to worry about it. But again, if you're doing it from scratch, you have nothing installed, then these are the steps you have to follow, because I've seen a lot of people struggle with this. That's why I'm giving all the details. Then you also need FFmpeg. This is basically for video conversions. So FFmpeg, you have to add this, and then you have to just install it basically. Or you can, it's not really an installation, it's just a copy paste, but copy and paste it in a secured location. And then you have to add this to the environment variables. So I will show you how you can do that as well. But to actually download this, let me show you. To download this, you have to go to their website, and here you will see ffmpeg.org, and there you can go to downloads. So for Windows, you can click on that, and there you go, exe files. You can click on Windows built from Gian, and then you can go down release builds, and then you can download the ffmpeg release essentials.zip. So once you download it, just copy and paste it somewhere. Just make sure it is a secure location. And then what you have to do is, you have to, in your Windows, you have to search for environmental variables, or just write edit, because normally edit is what it comes with, edit system environment variables. This will open up. You go to environment variables, you go to path, you can edit, and here you will see that you have to add the bin file, the bin directory folder. I believe I added it for all, so let me check here. Yeah, see NVIDIA computing kit, computing toolkit, there you go. And then you also have for ffmpeg. It's not here yet, or did I forget it? And yeah, you can see here, you make sure the bin folder is in the environment variable. Now normally if you install it, it should automatically do that for you, so you don't have to worry about that. I believe these are automatically generated, but for the ffmpeg, you have to do it manually. I'm not sure why is it not here. So anyways, what you do is you copy this path for the bin, and you can pick any one of these two. This is for only this user, and then this is for all the users. So you can go to path and you can add a new one, and here you can paste this and you can hit OK. Now what happens is you have to restart your PC once you do that. So that's always the case, you have to restart. Okay, so now that everything is done, all the installations are done, we can go ahead and work with our Face Fusion to actually get it up and running. So let's go ahead and open up our Pycharm project. So this is a Pycharm project I have created by the name Face Fusion Tutorial. So you can use this, and then we will simply go to the terminal. We'll click on this and go to command prompt. This will open the virtual environment terminal so that we can install and download stuff here. So what we will do is we will go ahead and open up our Face Fusion. So then we can simply go to code and we can copy this URL. You can download and paste it there as well, but this is a little bit easier. You can write git clone. By the way, you do have to install Git as well, so you have to go to their website and you can simply install Git. It's not a big deal. So git clone, and then you paste the website URL, and then you can run it. So I believe most of you already have these stuff, so you just have to start from this part. So git clone Face Fusion, you can see now Face Fusion is here, and now what we can do, we can go to the same terminal with the virtual environment, and we can say cd Face Fusion, because we want to go into that folder, because we have the requirements.txt file over there. We need to install that. We need to install all of these. but it's not done yet because GPU is always complicated. So we have to install a few things for the GPU. So here we will simply write pip install R for the requirement file, and we will write requirements.txt. So then we will hit enter, and what this will do is it will start collecting all the packages, and then it will start installing it. So let's wait for it to finish, and then we will continue. Okay, so now that the installations are complete, we can simply make sure that you are in Face Fusion directory, and you can see that there's a run.py file here. We need to run this. So we will write here Python run.py. So my spellings are always wrong, so that's why it doesn't work. Python run.py. So for CPU, that's pretty much what you need to do. And for GPU, we will have to install the GPU versions of a few libraries. So we have the ONX, and then we have the Torch library. So we need to make sure the PyTorch. So we need to make sure that they are the GPU versions, because by default they install the CPU version. So if you go to requirements, you can see ONX is simply CPU, and you will also see Torch is also CPU. So that's why it takes time. That's why we have to install it, and this will take a while, because first you had to install all of these, and then it is updating the skeletons at this moment, and that's why it's taking a while. But once it's done, later it will not be that slow. It will be actually quite fast. Now, one more thing, once you install it and run it for the first time, it is going to download a few files, because these are the actual models that will run at the back end to do the face swapping. So that's why it will take a while to download all these different files. Once it's downloaded, it will give you a link where you can start the Face Fusion. So there we have it. Now a link has been generated, and then we can simply go ahead and open it up. And here you can see we have the option of face swapper, face enhancer, face debugger, frame enhancer, and then you can select which one you want. And then here you can see we only have the option of CPU. That is what you will get by default. And so let's go ahead and try it with CPU. I will paste the target image here. You can simply drag and drop. So that's the best part about this, that you can simply drag and drop stuff. And there you go. So you can see it has swapped, but it's not very good at this point. So maybe because it's tilted image as well. Let's try another one. Let's try this. So you'll see that even with the CPU, it's quite fast because I have a good CPU. But when it comes to video, even with a good CPU, it will not be good. It will take a while. So I do not recommend using with CPU for videos. So yeah, so this is, but it's a little bit blur. It is swapping, but it's blur. So that's why we need face enhancer. So here you will see, once you click on that, it will start downloading the face enhancer, and then once it has downloaded, then it will run it again, and this time it will be more clearer. So now you can see the face enhancer has been downloaded and it is working as well. So if we do it without that, you will see it's a little bit blurry and it's not that well, you can see there. But if you enhance it, then of course you are going to get better results. Now, I also mentioned that you have multiple faces you can use. So let's bring in an image which has multiple faces. So there you go. So now there are multiple faces. You can see it has detected all three faces. So what I can do is I can say, so by default, it will put it on the first one. Then I can select, for example, the second one, and it will put it, it will replace the second face. So it's up to me which one I want to do, and I can select the last one and it should work as well. So here you can see it's taking about 7 seconds to do this task, maybe a little bit more, 8 seconds. So that's the idea. And then you can also do many or one. So for many, it will do for all of them. So let's see how long it takes. About 8 seconds again. So there you go. So it has replaced with all of them. all of them. Now, the thing is, we do not have a GPU option here. We should have a CUDA option here. Now, how do you bring that CUDA option? You have to do two things. The first thing is you have to install the PyTorch version, the GPU version. So here you will go to pytorch.org/get started locally, and here in the start locally you will select stable Windows, pip, Python, and CUDA 11.8. So you will copy this link, and again, make sure when you run it, make sure that you are in this command prompt, which has the local environment. I will press Ctrl and C to cancel, and then I can simply paste it and I can hit enter. So it will say, now this is the problem, it will say that the requirements are already satisfied. So what we can do is we can press C, Ctrl C, and we need to uninstall the torch that it is already installed. So to uninstall, what we have to write is we have to write pip uninstall, and we have to write torch and torch vision. So it will select and we will say yes. So successfully uninstalled torch 2.1.2, and it's also uninstalling, and we will say yes again, and now it has uninstalled both of them. Now we can go ahead and paste our URL again, our link, and we can write here pip3 install torch, torch vision, torch audio, and now it will go ahead and download this. Now it is already downloaded on my PC because I have tried this before as well. That's why it's using the cached version. So it will be a little bit faster. Otherwise, it will take a few minutes because it is a few GBs to download this file. And once it is done, then we can go ahead and install our ONX as well. So now the installation is complete, and the last thing we have to install is the ONX GPU version. So what we have to write is pip install ONNX runtime dash GPU. I believe that's the name, and it will collect the version it requires, and then it will install that. So there we have it. It is now installed. And now what we have to do is we have to make sure we are in Phase Fusion. So here you can see we are in Phase Fusion. Now we will simply write python run.py. And again, I have written the spellings wrong. It's a default state. I go in and write wrong spellings. Anyways, so this time around, it should work with GPU as well. So let's go ahead and try it out. So now the link has been generated, and we will click on it. And now if you open that up, there you go, you have CUDA as well, which means now you have the GPU installed as well. So we'll click on CUDA, and we will click on the face enhancer as well because we need that. So we are going to go ahead and drag in this image. So there we have our image, and now let's see how long it takes. It took around 2 seconds, I believe, to do the same thing. So let's do it for many, and there you go. It takes even less than a second now to actually do that. So it is really fast if you do it on the GPU. That's why I always recommend that you go ahead and take the steps to run the GPU, and then your life will be much easier. Okay, how do you do it on the video? You basically drag and drop. So this, for example, is the movie trailer that I swapped my face on that I showed you earlier. So that's the good thing. For a video, you can go ahead and move this to check out the preview. So here it's giving the real-time preview because this is the actual video. So this is the actual face, and this is what I'm getting. So as you can see, it is quite good. And if we go down, what we can do is we can keep moving on to different frames and keep checking. By the way, we don't need many, we need reference, and we just need to make sure that it is correct. So there you go. So it did not detect this part. We just click on that, and there you go. So yeah, that's the idea. And then you can simply press start to actually run it. Now, if we go back to our initial frames, let's keep it on this, and then we are going to hit start. So now if you want to see the progress of it, you can see that as well. You can click on the Pycharm, you can go to the terminal, and here you can see the processing is quite fast. It's taking around 20 seconds to do the face swapper, and then probably another 20 seconds to do the enhancer. So I'm using currently a 3080 Ti graphics card. Now, if you want to check its performance, you can simply press Control, Shift, and Escape, and you go to the Performance tab, and here you will see that it starts using the GPU memory. You can see here it's not using the whole thing. It's 21%, 23%. But it's quite fast, and we don't need to push it further. The CPU, as you can see, is also being used, and I believe it's done. So there you go. So it's done, and it's giving us an error, but that's okay. Connection error, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to worry about that. As long as we are getting the final video, we don't care about that. There we have it. So this is the output. So you can click here to download, and also you can click here to download the image. Here you will click to download the video. So let's play this and see how it works. So there you go. Looks pretty good. There you have it. So it was an 11-second video, and it took about how much? Let's see the exact values. Took 27 and 21 seconds. So this will be 48 seconds. So it took 48 seconds to actually complete this. So less than a minute is quite good when you're using a GPU. If you're using a CPU, actually, let's do it. Let's run it on a CPU and see how long will that take. So let's do the exact same thing, and we will hit start. So here it's saying 55 seconds. I'm pretty sure it will not finish in 55 seconds. So here, if we look at this, it's showing that it can take around 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So it's not really sure how much. It's fluctuating a lot. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, so half a second has already passed. So remember, this is only half of it, and then again it will do another half. So it is 11 seconds. It's not a big deal. If you have a bigger video, 30 seconds, 1 minute, then it might take hours. And especially if you do not have a good CPU. Right now I have a good CPU. It is 12th generation, and you can look at the speed. It's 4.4 gigahertz. So it's quite good, and it has a lot of threads and multiprocessors, and it can handle a lot of good amount of information. But if you have a normal CPU, it will be bad. It will take a long time. So yeah, that's the idea of this project. And it is very easy. In fact, what I did a few days ago, I had a party at my home, and I face swapped pretty much all the people who were coming in. So, and then I displayed them on the TV screen. I showed them the images, and it was a lot of fun. It took me around 20 to 30 minutes to create the deepfakes for all of them. And just images, they are very quick. Within a second you can do. It's just drag and drop, and you can create and have fun parties as well. So this is the idea of this project. I hope you have learned something new. It is very useful. It is very fun to play around with. You can spend hours on this, swapping faces and creating deepfakes. But make sure you use this very responsibly. I'm not liable for any damages you make. So make sure you know what you're doing, and do not go ahead and go down the copyright rabbit hole. Okay, anyways, so this is it for today's video. I hope you have learned something new. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, share it with your friends, and I will see you in the next one.